Hello, tubers. Hang on, sorry, forgot to pause the music. There we go. Hello, tubers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And thank you for coming on and watching Cooper's Thai Adventure live stream with myself and my good buddy and trusted sidekick, Mr. Brooke Schneider.
Good to be here.
Hello, all, and welcome to the show. Today, we got a lot of news to go through, and I'm extremely excited about it. I'm extremely bullish about it. How you feeling about all the news out there right now in the cryptoverse, Brooke?
Just taking it in stride.
Just taking it in stride. Right. What is this big news that you're talking about? Well, first off, let me just say to all my mystified subscribers, yes, we getting a dividend payment being announced in 2 more days on Misty. And also in 2 more days is the end of the quarter for MicroStrategy. Now, because of the new FASB rules that apply to MicroStrategy, starting in 2 days, they would be able to show, providing Bitcoin price holds above 95,000, and currently it's at 108.8, so doing extremely well. Providing it stays above 95,000, MicroStrategy will be able to show a huge profit this quarter. And the rules for entering the S&P 500 are a little bit funny and a little bit shaky if you don't understand them. And I've looked into it, I've done my research, I've done my due diligence, and it shows that you have to have several quarters of profits. And however, there is a loophole there. The loophole is if your latest quarter outperforms all your losses that you previously had over the last 3 quarters,
Which it would.
which it will. Brooke's already forerunning the show here. Then they can potentially be accepted into the S&P 500. So right now, the way it's looking, MicroStrategy is going to be several $billion in profit. It's going to be amazing end of quarter for MicroStrategy because of the FASB accounting rules. And with that, it then goes to what is called the committee stage. So there's a panel that decides who gets accepted and who doesn't into the S&P 500. And when is the likely date that they're saying MicroStrategy could be accepted into the S&P 500? End of September.
Bonus.
End of September. So we're not far away, folks. We're 3 months away. That's when I go on the cruise. End of September, I'll be partying on the cruise ship. Champagne for everybody. Yeah. And anyways, we got a bunch of our subscribers going, so it'll only be for that group. It won't be for the whole ship. I ain't that rich. And anyways, what is the prediction moving forward with MicroStrategy being included in the S&P 500? Well, I watched a lot of financial analysts on it, and these are guys in the know. Berkshire Hathaway, ARK Invest, Kathy Wood. I'm looking at all these top forecasters, that people trust, over the years that normally been spot on the money. And they're saying that the potential for MicroStrategy is an income change of $10 to $15 billion for the year, for the whole year moving forward from when they're incepted into the S&P 500. Where's this figure coming from? Well, they work out how much is invested in the S&P 500, and it's split between the 500 companies. So if anybody your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your friends are invested in the S&P 500 from October 1st, they'll probably be invested into Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. You could say to them that they say, "Oh, I don't believe in Bitcoin. I don't believe in MicroStrategy, anything else." Are you invested in the S&P 500? Yes, I am. Well, you're own Bitcoin now. So that is fantastic news. So I then went in and did a little bit further due diligence, and I wanted to know what would be the price prediction for MicroStrategy if they went into the S&P 500 by year end. And I'm seeing some phenomenal numbers out there, Brooke. I'm seeing it anywhere from $1,500 a share to $2,700 a share at the high end.
Per what?
Per share. of MicroStrategy
When?
by end of year if they get accepted into the S&P 500, and Bitcoin is at $200,000.
Oh, well, now we have a
So
little
if
additional information.
Yeah, that's where they get the high end of 2,700.
Yeah.
So if Bitcoin reaches 200,000, then they're predicting that MicroStrategy, along with the income they'll be earning from the S&P 500, their share price could go as high as 2,700.
Yeah, that might be.
And that's at a NAV premium of 2.
Okay.
Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Last year in September, for those that follow MicroStrategy, MicroStrategy had a NAV premium of 4. It went ballistic and their stock price went through the roof. They had a 10-to-1 split. Everybody was going, thank you, money, 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 money. And it had a NAV premium of 4. If that happens again this year in September, all the bets are off. It's going way above $2,700 a share. So what does that mean for us? Those of us that are invested in a MSTY, watch out. MSTY price will go through the roof.
Yeah. So you're estimating Bitcoin at 200K.
Yes. I think Bitcoin will hit 200K as a minimum this year. Minimum. That's my
to
bearish.
200, I would say, would be reasonable on a conservative estimate. And so let's say it was a double in Bitcoin. I think micro would probably triple, maybe quadruple, but you know, it's not going to do a 10x on a double.
No.
But a triple would put you about 1,200, say, you know.
Yeah.
Quadruple, maybe
that's before
about,
they go into
15.
the S&P 500.
So say 12 to, yeah, no, I think historically that you get about a 10% bump.
Yeah.
You know, which is nothing to sneeze about, you know, $40 a share increase, which is pretty good. So I'd take a little more conservative viewpoint than that. We know where Bitcoin's going, so that's a fact.
Right.
Okay. So that I rely on, total confidence.
Yeah.
And all the things that are coming together for Bitcoin is why I believe that, you know. So that's the underlying issue, is where's Bitcoin going?
Yes.
So we know where that is.
I know exactly where it's going.
What's MicroStrategy doing? Well, he's buying Bitcoin like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's weekly, and I think he's got another orange dot today.
He did. He put one out last night, another orange dot. So he's already bought it, and he'll announce how much he bought before the stock market opens tonight.
Yeah. So so that's good. You know, I mean, there's you know, confidence in Bitcoin with Saylor. And I do believe that MSTY will be drawn upwards
with MicroStrategy.
So we've got kind of Bitcoin, we know where it's headed. Micro's going to follow, and MSTY will be pulled.
Yes.
How much, you know, MicroStrategy does a triple or double even, I don't see MSTY doing that.
No.
But, you know, hey, it could be up 25, 50%, you know. I think the MSTY guys are looking for the income that with the price increases, like when Bitcoin does rocket, and we will have a rocket day, we could have a $10,000 or $20,000 up day, you will see volatility increase. And that's where kind of the MSTY boys are making their money, is on the volatility of the underlying stock, meaning MicroStrategy, right? So that I can see the volatility increasing, which should help the payments. This month, I think you'd agree, we're looking at probably maybe the low payment for since inception. You know, ranging from $1 to $1.30, say. I think the low was $1.33 prior, so it could be. But don't get upset, guys. Listen, even at $1 on, you know, an annual basis, you're talking $12 on a, say, a $20, $21 stock. You're 60% return on your money.
Exactly.
Who would not want that return compared to
I've said anything over $1 is fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, let's not get too focused on the $2 and $3 payments of the historical. Volatility was higher back in those days. But they're going to make their payment. They'll always make a payment. There'll always be volatility is why. And you know, just bide your time, collect your dividends, and enjoy life.
Mm.
Now, I did want to add, and I mentioned to you on the balcony, you want to be somewhat invested in. Obviously, you need a monthly income to live on, guys, but you also should have some growth potential in your portfolio.
Mm.
Coop and I both believe in, obviously, MicroStrategy for growth as well as Tesla. Tesla being our AI play, not a car company, an AI play. So I did buy 30 more shares of Tesla this week.
Well done.
I got rid of this pig dog I had, Clean Spark.
Yeah, me too.
And I flipped that into 30 shares. And the reason being, Coop, I see it being the faster horse in the race. I do think Clean Spark eventually, being a Bitcoin miner, will track Bitcoin price eventually. But, Bitcoin doubles. So what? Clean Spark maybe does a double or triple. I think holding Tesla in the AI play will be even faster.
Yes.
Horse in the race. So,
yeah. And I've said to you, where I see Bitcoin going. Now I want to show you where I see Bitcoin going. And there's a certain person I follow religiously on X, and so do you. He's called Hodl15 Capital, and this is his X page. And he lists all the companies that are currently holding Bitcoin, and they've shared with their shareholders how much they intend to buy over the next 18 months of Bitcoin. And it's just a phenomenal amount, folks. That's why I seem to think we've got less than a 40% chance that we have a crypto winner this year, at the end of this year. And these figures, that I'm about to run off to you guys are mind-blowing. And if this comes to fruition, there's no way there's going to be a crypto winner. It's absolutely impossible. All right. And right now, through the Senate and the House in the US, we have two very important legislation bills going through for crypto. And that's fantastic. It gives the POTUS the authority to go out and buy the Bitcoin. There's rumors that he's already started. I have no idea. We'll see when it comes September.
I'm sure he has.
I think there's probably a chance that he already has front running it. And so let's see what they're saying. MicroStrategy has 51 billion dry powder remaining, is equal to 500,000 Bitcoin to buy. Remember his 4141 announcement? He's got 51 billion dry powder right now. All right. MTPLF is targeting 210 Bitcoin by 2027. Okay, which is 22 billion. They're going to invest by 2027. Similar Scientific is targeting 105 Bitcoin by 2027. That's $10 billion, Brooke. ALTBG is targeting 210 Bitcoin by 2030. That's another 22 billion right there at today's money. Trump, I'll love him or hate him. DJT is the stock, and they're targeting $12 billion dollars into Bitcoin. All right, so that is mega bullish there. BMGL is targeting $1 billion. Mara is targeting $2 billion. They want to buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin on top of mining it. That's one of your favorites, Mara there. GameStop has announced a 1.5 billion plus what they have now, plus they want to buy an additional 2.5 billion. All right, so they've already bought 500 million worth. And then Strive is also 1.5 billion pledge. Ritar Logtech Holdings.
Okay. We got a lot of
1.5 billion. Nakamoto 75 billion. ProCap 1
lot of
billion.
buyers. Yeah.
You just go down and down and down the list. At this rate, there can be, I'm sorry, there cannot be a crypto winner because they're going to be buying all the way through. Texas, the governor of Texas just signed the SAB.
Yeah.
They're going to start buying. New Hampshire is going to start buying. Arizona is going to start buying. A lot more states are getting in on it. Pakistan has announced they're starting a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They plan on buying as well. It's happening all around the world. So many countries are now saying they want in on it. And it's a fantastic time, in my mind, to be in Bitcoin. And
Can I just add something?
sure, go ahead. Cut me off.
Thank you. Well, so there's a lot of buyers for Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And billions of dollars.
Yes, there is. As far as a crypto winner, crypto includes like all the altcoins, shit coins, everything else. I could see there being a crypto winner, but not in Bitcoin. Okay, so I'd like to make that differentiation here. You'll see volatility in Bitcoin.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But to me, a crypto winner means, boy, prices go way down and they stay there. I don't see that happening with Bitcoin. So again, you want to buy and hold, accumulate as much as you can. You know, we were talking about a little thing we had saw about the housing, how much Bitcoin to buy a house. I don't know, like 10 years ago, it was, you know, several thousand Bitcoin. 5 years ago was several hundred. You know, a year ago was maybe 2, 3. And now it's going to less than 1 Bitcoin to have a house in the next
Per
5
house.
years.
Yes.
Yeah. 0.1 of a Bitcoin, guys. So you see the trend there, you know, and it's comparing Bitcoin to real estate. It's interesting. That's all. But as far as crypto winner, let's just touch on that. I'd be leery if I was in altcoins because, you know, I don't even know if there'll be an altcoin, you know, surge. But Bitcoin, we do know where it's going. So you and I tend to focus strictly on the Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's just so many positive things coming. And you could actually see them happen in real time, which is great with the blockchain. You could see who's buying, you know, on the blockchain. And I do follow the blockchain as well. And I can also see who is selling, you know, and I can also see the OTC desks where they are. And over the last 3.5 weeks, billions of dollars have flown into Bitcoin, billions and billions. And the OTC desks are getting lower and lower and lower. Now, I asked you earlier on in the year, did you think the OTC desks would ever run out and we get into price discovery? And you said, no, they'll always have Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, down at the pool the other day, you seemed to change your tune a little bit on that. And so you're seeing the writing on the wall that they may run extremely low, in which case
Absolutely not.
we got a huge spike.
You
$20,000, $30,000 days in Bitcoin.
Think that OTC desks will run dry?
I think
Zero
there's a possibility.
Bitcoin. There'll always be Bitcoin for sale. It's the price, buddy. All right. So when it jumps to 120, you'll see a bunch of coins start to show up on the OTCs. And then they get sold. And then it goes to $1.50. There's even more coming on the desk. So, you know, yeah, there'll always be coins for sale. The question is the demand greater than the supply? And it's gonna be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
that's gonna cause the price to keep going up to make sure there is coins. You get a run. When you get a $20,000 or $30,000 update in the price of Bitcoin, it's because nobody's selling. Nobody's selling.
Yeah.
And in order to pry those coins from that guy's hand, he's got to get 20 or 30,000 more than it was the day before.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And somebody that I really like following, and he's fantastic, his advice, is Tommy Lee from FrontStrat.
Yeah, he's good.
He is extremely good. You and I both follow him.
Yep.
Well, I saw his latest interview on YouTube, and he said that he had a price prediction of Bitcoin hitting 200,000 this year. And he was on there and he says, they asked him, is his price prediction still 200,000 this year? And he says, no, I was wrong. He says, it's going way higher. And they said, how much higher? He says, I don't know. He says, but I would not be surprised if it's north of 300,000 by year end.
Well, you know,
and wow.
So you go back to, say, 15 years ago, and we saw a video on this, guys. There was a guy then, on, I think it was YouTube or X at the time, probably not X, but price prediction on Bitcoin. And at that time, probably was trading dollar under $10, maybe 100,000.
Mm.
People laughed.
Yes.
Well, it's 108, you know. This year they're predicting $1 million. People are laughing. Well, there's your historical, you know what I mean? So never say never is my point.
If I had to put a date on when I think Bitcoin would hit 1 million, would I say it's this year? No, definitely not this year. But I could see it happening in 2027 with all those that are saying how much they're going to buy. They disclose it to their shareholders and everything else. I can see definitely. Hang on, I got Brooke, stop rolling your eyes. There you go. So I can see definitely by 2027 would be a time frame somewhere between January and December of 2027 that we could potentially hit that $1 million Bitcoin. It's only 2 years out.
Yeah.
You know, with all those billions coming into it. I mean, the list I looked at was showing over $80 billion. If I were to continue reading that list all the way down, $80 billion by 2027 coming into the market. And that's from these top companies, folks. That's not from the ETFs. The ETFs haven't even entered the equation. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to follow the money.
Yeah.
So, you know, IBIT, Fidelity, ARK, you know, they're all going to be buying into it as well. And, you know, the US government, sovereign states, you add all them into it, and yeah, you could potentially get to that $1 million by 2027.
Just taking a step back, why is this happening with this product called Bitcoin? And it's the only asset on the planet that has a finite supply. You know, you can dig more gold, you can, you know, mine more silver, you can, you know, platinum, palladium, all the other metals that are supposed store of values. You can always get more. You want more gold, dig deeper. Oh, there's no gold left on planet Earth, go to the moon, go to Mars, there'll be gold, you know. So it's the only asset, store of value on the planet that has a finite fixed supply, never to have more. Okay, so that's the one basis. The other is people are losing trust in paper money.
Yeah, they just keep printing.
Every government does. They're getting into more and more debt doing that. So people see the writing on the wall that this so-called store of value in paper money is absolutely useless. So they'll put it into other assets. Well, the governments are taxing the heck out of those. They need money to, you know, pay off these debts and interest charges. And whether it's your house, they're going to be taxing your property taxes, your maintenance of keeping a house. So is that a good investment? Oh, you want to buy gold? Well, we have buddies that buy gold.
Yes.
The government's registered every coin the guy owns. They want their money, you know, and he was even saying, geez, they're talking about putting an early tax on this stuff because they know you haven't. They'd like some money now. Whatever, you haven't even sold the gold. Yeah, like I can't see that ever passing. But my point is, with Bitcoin, it's so finite. They're not making any more. It's, yeah, if you don't have any guys, get some, you'll do okay with it. And it's portable. You can put it on a thumb drive if you're so inclined and take it with you. So stay mobile if you feel that way. And the last thing I'll say on that, you know, people aren't stupid. People with money. And they're migrating to places that are, let's say, tax friendly, Bitcoin friendly. You know, you can, California, I mean, they're losing people. New York State, they're losing the wealthy, I'm talking. Yeah. Because they see, hey, they see the writing on the wall. What's the country with the biggest influx of multimillionaires?
China.
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi was number one.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, influx. Sorry.
Influx.
Yes.
Yes.
Influx. Yes.
So,
I would have said Dubai then.
And when you look at it, it's very crypto friendly, tax friendly. And, you know, so people are saying, fine, I'm not going to stay in this system, whether it's Canada or whatever, that's taxing the hell out of me, printing this fiat money. I have no faith in the Canadian peso. So I actually think the US dollar is the, cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket. So, but anyways,
so let's get on with the show and see who we got on. Starting off with Clarence Graham, who became our newest channel member.
Nice.
Well done, Clarence. And you now get that badge next to your name right over there for only $2 a month. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Much appreciated.
Blakester Drums, good evening, gentlemen and ladies, and to the group, let's make some cash. Hit that like button, make Darlene smile.
Yes, please. If you're watching on the live stream, hit the thumbs up. It's free. It doesn't cost a penny. And then hit the subscribe button, put your comment down. We'll read it live on air for you. That's our promise. And thank you, Blakester, for being a channel member as well.
Rich Price, good day, folks.
Good day to you too, Rich.
Alpha, good evening, everyone from Stony Creek.
Good evening, Romeo. What's Duke doing these days?
Duke doing these days? Dang, you guys are early and you're eager.
And he's changed his name to Canada Goose on the Loose.
That like symbols, eh? Apparently YouTube's doing that on every live stream.
Yeah, for the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So if your name comes up weird, blame YouTube. It's not our fault.
But we recognize the picture. Rich Price, chomping at the chats to start.
And hello, Rich.
Jeff Trio, evening, guys. Coop, did you get my email?
Yes, I did. And your shirt will be on order on Wednesday there, Jeff. Your Hello Tubers t-shirt, we'll get that ordered for you on Wednesday. They're closed for today and tomorrow. So we'll go there and get it ordered for you.
Another holiday in Thailand?
No, they're doing some renovations in the factory.
Thailand's always got holidays, it seems. Rich Price, chomping at the bit chat. Richard Woolley, good day, folks. Looking forward to the show and the Misty predictions with only a few days to go.
And there's quite a few predictions out there right now, Richard. And they're on the low end. So don't be surprised, folks, like Brooke said, if we get under $1.33, which is their lowest payment, because, MicroStrategy had a big spike up on Friday. And not many people saw the writing on the wall that was going to happen. It went all the way up to $398 per share. And Misty had a lot of call options that were at the 380, 385 mark, and it blew past that. So they lost money on those trades. And, well, they had to sell them out.
They had to buy them back.
At
probably more
than
they
premium.
Received.
Yeah.
But then they roll them up and out to maybe 400, so they'll collect more premium. So, it's they're still going to make a buck. It's just not as much as they had hoped.
But for this week, boy, they put their buy-sell calls all the way up to 420.
Good.
So they think MicroStrategy is really going to make a run for it this week. And with Bitcoin up right now, 2% over its Friday close, then yeah, MicroStrategy should be up 2% as well, and they are on the pre-market. So well done to Misty there. They're front running it.
Yeah, like if they've sold the calls at 385 and the stock closes at 392 on the Friday, which is the expiry date, they would have rolled that up and out. I'm sure. They didn't maybe make any money on the trade.
Where they are making money right now is on the synthetics.
Exactly.
They're making bank on those synthetics, and those are due to expire the middle of next month, middle of July.
And then they'll rewrite another.
Yeah.
But so my point is, sure, they maybe didn't make it on the trade, but they made it on the synthetic going up. So it's kind of they're still making money. It's not to worry. You just, if it had closed below the 385 where they sold it, they kept all the premium.
Yeah.
But
and with MicroStrategy bouncing, I did notice something else happened on Misty on Friday. Its 30-day IV went up 3%.
Good.
So from 43 to 46. Fantastic. If MicroStrategy has more volatility like that going forward this week, which I think there's a good chance if Bitcoin stays on this run, MicroStrategy should follow suit. And that will help the 30-day IV with Misty as well.
Yeah.
Moving forward and put it back somewhere in the 50 percentile, which would be absolutely fantastic for us. What's my prediction? Based on their earnings, they could pay 76 cents. But I don't think they're going to pay 76. They're currently holding on to about $2.50 of profits from previous months that they've sandbagged. So they could put some of that in there. And how much they'll put in there to top up for the shareholders, keep them happy. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe $1.20.
Yep.
Somewhere around there, about $1.20 for this one. But with those synthetics expiring towards the end of this month, I think August is going to be a fantastic payment.
Time will tell.
Yeah, especially if MicroStrategy goes over 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Rich Price, Spit Chat. Yeah. Mr. Montana, good morning. Coop, Darlene, Brooke, and Jack, and all the gang. Hoping all is well. It is. I'm not going to be able to watch your live stream as I have things to attend to.
No problem, Tony.
He's a busy boy. I'll be watching a bit late today. Have a great live stream.
Thank you.
Misty, I hope will make $2. There's an optimist. At least I'm hoping.
They could pay it.
Tony relies on hopium.
But I can't see it because that would make their payment 200%.
Yeah, it's not.
I just over 200%. And I just can't see them doing it.
No.
I think they're going to hold that back for the big November payment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nomad Jack, good misty morning, CBD and gang. Money Monday.
Yes, it is. And good morning to you, Jack.
Tekken, good evening, CBD. Hope all is well. It is.
It is. Thank you, Tekken, and thank you for being a channel
member. Good morning,
member.
Jack, says Montana. Roger Walker, good morning. Good evening, everyone. Scott Caswell, good morning, all. Scotty's in Wahin, is he?
Yes.
Richard Duger, Baba, Misty's at $1.30. That's his estimate. Well,
wow, he's
good for you,
yeah,
Bubba.
That's a good estimate there, Bubba. I hope you're right. If
that
it's
would
at
be
a 130,
nice.
I'd be very happy.
Pays 130, they'd still have money left in the kitty for later on in the year. So
yeah, and they got those.
Maybe that's
they
true.
got 4 synthetics now too, so it's looking good. And when the stock market closed on Friday evening in the U.S., Misty's assets under management was at $4.9 billion. So it's going up. And with that, a lot of people are buying it. They're releasing more shares for people to buy into it. And I can see when the stock market opens today, because they're declaring on Wednesday, they're going to hit that $5 billion mark today when the stock market opens. So watch this space. Good
Very
things coming
liquid
from
stock.
Misty.
And when they issue more shares, they're not diluting their earnings.
No, they're selling those shares.
They're actually getting more money to buy more options, sell more calls, play more synthetics. So it's kind of a good thing because it keeps the liquidity up, which is good.
Exactly.
Montana says, good morning, Bubba. One Dandy finally got into Misty on Friday, got 1,017 shares. Well done.
Well done, Vandy Dandy. That's a good amount to start with. Yes, very, very good amount.
Yeah. Return of the living dividend. Hope to get to Thailand the next 2 years to scope it out in a little vacation this year. Okay.
That'd be great to have you out here with us. Yeah, certainly. Come on out and get in touch with us when you do, and come to one of our meet and greet and meet a lot of our subscribers.
Yeah.
We had over 70 turn up at the last meet and greet.
Big time. Good fun had by all. And it's always a combination of brand new first timers. And they're all laughing and smiling, happy to be in Thailand. And there's regulars that come every meet and greet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just to stay in touch. You know what I mean? But they seem to have a great time. And, it's always good to reminisce. Terry Fallon from Bancroft. Hello, CB and D. From a beautiful day up here in Bancroft, Ontario. Have a great live stream and hello to all in the chat.
And thank you, Terry. And
Terry's happy because there's no snow on the ground.
Yeah, but there's lots of black flies. The size of helicopters.
I think they got their season too. But...
And thank you, Terry, for being a channel member, brother.
LV says, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Good morning to you too, Las Vegas. And thank you too for being a channel member. We've got a lot of channel members.
Jeff Sigler, good evening, CBD, and everyone in the chat.
Good morning to you, Jeff.
Wanderlust Asia, good morning from Cebu, the Philippines. Let's hit the BTC all-time high this week.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I predicted the end of June. So I've got another
today.
Yeah.
You got till the end of today to see if it happens, if it goes. Yeah, well, it could do. It could do. It's on a bit of a pump right now.
I see.
Could do. What's the all-time high? Just under 112 bucks?
Yeah, just under
Brooke, 111 something? Yeah.
Scott says, good morning, Coop, Brooke, and Darlene from the peaceful seas of Wahin. Okay, that's Scott there.
Yeah. Hello, Scotty.
Ernest Jones, Ernie, good morning, neighbors from Dusset 1.
Good morning, Ernie. You missed him at the pool yesterday. I was out with him at the pool.
I was napping. I had a good nap yesterday. Vandy Dandy. Coinbase was the best performing stock in the S&P 500 in June. Well done.
Yeah. And Vandy Dandy, if MicroStrategy gets accepted, I think that's going to be the best performing stock above all of them going forward for the third quarter, because we're coming to the end of third quarter day after tomorrow, Wednesday, second quarter. And I say by the if MicroStrategy's in the end of September, watch out. Watch out.
Coinbase has done well. Glenn Shaw, good morning, guys and girls. Is MSTY the only yield max that pays out twice in August?
Very good question, Glenn. And I don't know.
No.
The ones that I follow and I look at don't pay out twice in August. Maybe they have a double payment later on in the year. I know MSTY is the only one right now that does.
No, okay, here's how it works.
But there may be other yield max funds somewhere that I don't know about, because there's loads of them over 50 now that do.
So MSTY is part of what's called Group D. And Group D, when you go to the Yield Max webpage, you'll see the stocks that are listed in Group D. Those all have the same payout day as MSTY. So everything in that group will have 2 payments in August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when you look at the other groups, for example, Tesla, I believe, is in Group A. If you scroll down enough, you'll see where they hit 2 payments. They all will do 2 at some point in the year, because they're on that 4-week cycle, meaning 13-week cycles in a year times 4 is 52 weeks. Well, that's what a year is. So you got to kind of go to the Yield Max webpage, scroll down to the distribution dates, look at your category. So everything in D will have that double August. Just forget the other ones in that are a major note. I'm like Coop. I don't really follow a lot of them, other than MSTY is the one obviously I focus on.
Yeah.
Tesla to some extent. Coney's paid pretty good, so look at that over the year. But yeah, anyways.
I'm a Plady too.
Plady, yeah,
that's a very good one
too. A lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Jeff Sigler, champagne for everyone who bought the drink package.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. You're learning.
JJ says, good morning, guys. I saw MSTY 147 dividend on Yield Max website for July.
No, that was last month.
Yeah,
that was last month's payment. They always show what the previous month payment was, and you can go back on their website, Yield Max website, and you'll see all the payments they've made since inception. Yeah. So that 147 that you saw is for June payment.
Nothing will be listed on the Yield Max website, JJ, until the Wednesday.
Till Wednesday.
Once it's announced, then they'll update the website. So yeah, it's not going to be early, because
and what I do, folks, is I follow Yield Max on X. So why? Because they announced their dividend payment there first before anywhere else, even before they put it on their website. They're announcing it on X. So that's their go-to platform. They put it on X, and then they update it in the different news feeds, and then also on their website. But the first one they always announce on is X. So that's why I follow
to be the go-to
X.
news source for.
And then I'll get alert on my phone. The Yield Max just made a post, and I take a look, and there you go. There's the price.
Bingo. Robert Nutt with some Texas humor. Good morning, CBD. Happy Monday to you guys. See you at Route 66 at 11.
Yeah, we'll be there at 11 o'clock today. And 126 people, 129 people watching now. Thank you all.
Hit that like button. Make Darlene smile.
Give us a thumbs up if you're on the stream. Much appreciated.
Here we go. Pierre says, hello to both of you. I heard that Solana might be a good buy. Correctamundo, because it could become an ETF, which it will. What do you think about that? I think
definitely.
A lot.
I think it's definitely. I think if I was to give it a percentile, Pierre, I would give it 120%. It's going to get an ETF in the next 60 days.
Yeah.
I'm even going to give a time frame, because the head of the SEC is a big Solana fan. So I see it definitely happening. Quite a lot of people have applied for a SOL ETF, a lot of the big players. And I see it definitely getting approved.
So I've never been a big believer in any of the shit coins, altcoins, some people call them. Except the more research, and this was through James at Invest Answers, I did become a believer in Solana.
Mhm.
Now I've dipped my toe in the water, not into the coins. There's some Sol Strategies is one that actually holds Solana coins, but they have other garbage. So I'm minor, very minor, like less than, as James says, put some play money.
Yeah.
0.002% of your portfolio, maybe, nothing. But there is an ETF coming. As you said, it's a certainty, in my opinion.
Oh,
I think,
definitely. It's going to happen.
And once that does, here's the issue with Solana. A lot of that Solana product is staked, which means it's not for sale. So when these ETFs hit, they actually have to go out. People are investing. They got to go buy the coin. Well, that's going to, I think, drive that price up. So it initially could be a bit of a FOMO to get into these ETFs, and buy the coins. So we'll see. Currently, I think Solana is well priced.
I think it's very underpriced.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I meant. It's a good buy.
Yes.
I agree. It's underpriced, well priced to me. But yeah. So anyways, time will tell. But I do have certainty with Bitcoin. I know where it's headed, and it's limited. Where Solana, they do issue coins. So, but it's the chain that people are using by far. So I would say this: if you had Ethereum or XRP and you wanted to stay in altcoins, flip that into Solana. That's what I would do.
Well, Solana, I will say, I'll give 100% disclosure on here, is the only coin I actually owned outright.
Wow.
All right. And I earlier this year, I'm actually down from when I bought it, but I bought $5,000 US worth of Solana on BitCub here in Thailand.
Did you?
I did $5,000 of play money just to see what happens. And I'm expecting Solana to really take off when these ETFs hit. I don't know how much they're going to go up, but I think it's going to be very surprising to a lot of people. It can go up. Solana is one of them ones, folks, that it can double and it can do a phenomenal 10, 20, 30x. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And it's so underpriced right now that it's got that momentum behind it. When this ETF launches it could possibly do that. If it doubles, I'm in the money.
Yeah, I don't
from
think
where it is now.
A 10x would be quite a ways down the road, I think. 20 and 30, I wouldn't think, because it is. I mean, it was trading at $8 a few years ago.
It's the fastest chain,
and now
on
it's
the
like
network.
140. So yeah, but I think it's had a good run. But there'll be more coming. But maybe a 2 or 3x would be like a max.
If it does, I'll be still in the money, and I'll be very, very happy.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Professor Wooden Barker says, "Morning, guys.
That's Vixter.
El Gaucho tomorrow?"
No, I will not be making El Gaucho tomorrow, Vixter, because we're going on a bike ride. So we're having a Hello Tubers bike ride and a scooter ride, motorbike ride. We're all going down to a place in Satahip called Bikers Cafe. And it's a fantastic place. I've been there once before. It's really, really nice. A lot of antique bikes in there. If you like bikes, you'll like it. And the restaurant food is to die for in there. It's a cafe and really good. You're welcome to join us. We're leaving here at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And there's a pretty healthy group of us that are going. And Darlene posted it on Facebook yesterday. And we got quite a few replies say, hey, I want to go. Yeah, count me in. I'm definitely coming. Is Mr. Brooke Schneider going?
Yet to be determined. We'll see.
It's only a 40-minute drive for those that are wondering.
In the hottest part of the day.
No, it's going to be overcast tomorrow, so it's not going to be that hot.
Mike D says, "What's up, guys? Brooke, have you lost hope in Tesla?" Absolutely not. No. I like Tesla. It's just that for me, my focus was obviously Misty, and that day when I flipped my Tesla was up and Misty had dropped, and I thought, Jesus, that's a good time to flip back into Misty. So It wasn't much. It was 600 shares of Tesla. I think I picked up a couple hundred and some shares of Misty. Brought me up to 4,000 Misty. So, but I still like Tesla. And here's the funny thing, Mike. We'll get the dividend. I'm going to sit on it and just see, and if Tesla was to say drop, yeah, I might be jumping back in because I have more faith in the underlying stocks of Tesla meaning Tesla, and Misty meaning MicroStrategy. So either one of those, if I see a trading option on those that I think is overdone, if Tesla drops too much, I'll probably, go back into that and just wait it out because I have faith in both stocks eventually climbing. So
yeah.
Wanderlust Asia, silver and uranium are breaking out too. Yeah.
I thought silver would. It should do by rights. Yeah. As a rare earth metal. And thank you, Wanderlust Asia, for being a channel member. Much appreciated.
I've been learning with Mike. Good morning, DJ Cooper, Brooke, and Darlene.
Good morning, Mikey.
Mike D says, I'm getting some more Misty tomorrow. Great price.
It is. And it looks like it's going to be trading up on the pre-market. And I can actually look at the pre-market for y'all folks and let you know what it's forecasted right now. On my IBKR app. Let's just have a look and see what the pre-market is on Misty. 2 seconds. And the pre-market on Misty is looking like it's going to be 2.6% up, which equates to 44 cents and at 21.85. That's all dependent on whether Bitcoin and MicroStrategy hold their price. That's of right now. That could always change in a few hours time when the stock market opens. MicroStrategy looks like it's going to be 2.5% up, 0.5% up, which equates to $7.87, trading at 391.75. Tesla, for all our Tesla folks out there, is going to be opening up at 0.39%, which is $1.26 up at 324.89. And the current Bitcoin price based on those, according to IBKR, the U.S. stock market, is 108.812. Current price of Bitcoin according to the U.S. stock market. So there you go. There's the price there, folks.
One thing, Mike, on that Tesla trade, you guys can listen up on this. So I got the Misty payment this week. Okay. So we get it Monday. Okay.
It'll be Monday next week.
Well, next week is when Tesla declares.
Yeah, the week after.
Yeah. So when I bought that Tesla, I had my money. And I'm thinking, shit, Tesla's down. I flipped that and I got that payment within like a week later, which was nice. So I actually got 2 payments over 2 weeks. And then I decided, to flip it back into Misty. So it was kind of like a quick trade too. And I'll do the same thing, if I see Tesla drop. But I'll probably end up back in Misty because I like dollar cost averaging down. Okay, live and learn with Mike. I finally got my first shares of Misty. Well,
and well done, Mike. And I'll just say a little piece on what you just said there, a reply to that. I would be scared to do that this time because if MicroStrategy is going to pump above 400 this week, which the Yield Max funds Misty department think they are going to, that's why they sold calls options on 420 for the end of this week. Even if Misty says, we'll keep the math simple, $1 dividend payment, that would bring the share price down $1 because they no longer have that money. They paid it out to their shareholders. So that would drop it down to like $20.80 per share. But if MicroStrategy is running and it's going up above 400, 420, then that dollar that it drops isn't going to be there for very long. You'll see on the market opening, it drops down a dollar, whatever, after they give their ex-dividend date. You'll see it drop down $1. And if MicroStrategy is running, it's going to run with it. And you're only going to have about half a second to buy it at that price because it's going to shoot up and shoot up and shoot up along with it.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, I'm not selling any of my Misty shares.
Okay,
I'm just using the payments,
the dividend.
What do I do with the money?
Okay.
I got the payment.
Right.
So do I want to buy more Misty today or hey, maybe I'll buy some Tesla. I'll get a payment next week. Keep that, sell the Tesla, which I did, and dump it all back into Misty. I ended up getting a few more shares than I would have just sitting on the payment. So, but each week is different. So we'll see.
Yeah, because
but
I mean, if MicroStrategy goes to 420, I could see Misty being at $23.
Yeah, I'm not selling my Misty shares because I want that monthly check, and I know where Bitcoin's going, where MicroStrategy going, and consequently Misty will be pulled.
Yeah.
So there'll always be a payment, which is what I'm counting on. So
yeah.
Chris Wheeler from Texas. I hope I can slow drip Misty for the next 20 years so I can start collecting tax-free.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. If you have it in a Roth IRA or 401k, you can collect it tax-free.
Canada, we use the TFSAs, at least I am, for the tax-free, but you still pay the 15% as a Canadian guys up front. It's taken from you. So you get 85% of the actual money, you know, but at least the rest is okay. Malcolm Hawkins, that name rings a bell. Good morning, Team Coops and Captain Bitcoin.
Good morning to you, Mal. He's coming on the bike run tomorrow, too.
Oh, good. Wanderlust Asia. Maybe no alt season. People are buying Bitcoin and investing in companies that hold Bitcoin instead of buying altcoins like they used to. Yeah, that's part of it.
And I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of friends of mine that hold altcoins, and they're saying, Coop, I just don't see it anymore. Bitcoin is just too heavy dominant. You know, it's at the upper 60 level, you know, between Bitcoin season and altcoin season. And they're like, altcoin season should have started a month ago, and it's not. You know, I'm selling my altcoins and getting in Bitcoin because, you know, of all the announcements that are being made. And, you know, if it gets to a high plateau, then they'll sell them, you know, buy back into the altcoins. But they're saying right now they don't even see it.
I think they're, you know, when Bitcoin does their big spurt, which they will, the alts should be drawn.
Some of them
somewhat
will
but
be,
it probably won't be for long, guys. So if you do see a profit in your positions, maybe you want to liquidate at least maybe not all, but a good slug, get all your money out, and then hey, play with the house money. And then if it doesn't go anywhere, so what? You know, it's house money. But I would, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a prolonged uptrend in altcoins. Let's just say,
yeah.
Wanderlust, click that like button. Make Darlene smile.
Yes, please.
That would help out, guys. Logan says, hey, studs, finally got my orange shirt in the right day.
Hey, well done, Logan.
Oh, he's wearing it, too.
He's wearing an orange shirt today.
Logan says, hi, Darlene. Thanks for all you do. Yes, she does a great job.
Yeah.
Gemini, I am so excited about the future of Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Misty. Well, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Yep. We will all be able to buy a villa in Pattaya by 2028. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Don't rule it out.
Don't rule it out. I can see it happening.
See, Coop says, hey, when are you buying a car? You know, because I keep riding with him.
Yes.
Keep threatening to buy a car. I told him this week, I says, well, guess what? I've decided on what I'm buying. I'm buying a Tesla. And you know who's paying for it? My Tesla shares. That's who's paying for it.
There you go.
So we'll see. But same thing with Bitcoin. That'll help me buy a villa. Keep our fingers crossed. Malcolm says, a lot of eye rolling going on there, Brookster.
Yeah, why you keep rolling your eyes at me? You make me look bad.
Well, no, you always look handsome. You know, you're.
Thank you. I think.
At least your wife thinks that. Yeah. No, not worry a bit.
Hello, Jackie. Yeah, your wife, your husband just said I look handsome. Should I be worried?
So sometimes when you get onto these monotonous rants, I have to. It's either that or fall asleep. I don't want to fall asleep. You know?
I'm only showing you where all the money's coming from.
Okay,
that's it. It's not a rant.
After about 4 or 5 of those, we get the idea.
Well, I think a lot of people want to see the total. You know, what's the total number? How much is coming in?
There you go.
You don't. You just want to sit back and relax, retire, drink coffee, hang out with the guys. I love the figures. I'm like a
travel trade.
out there.
Morning, all. Looking forward to the New York session later and throughout the week. The NY session. Not sure what that is.
Yeah. Well, right now, they have the bills going through the House and the Senate in the U.S. Two big crypto bills, and then they have the big bill that they're calling. What's the wording that the U.S. government is calling
Oh,
that?
the great big beautiful bill or something.
Yeah, something like that. That one's going through, and apparently
Oh.
nobody's going on holiday until it gets passed.
July 4th, I think, is when the deadline.
Yeah. So see what happens there, but that's got some crypto element into it, and they're saying the head of the housing in America has said that you are now able to use crypto as a asset to get a mortgage.
Nice.
So as a proof of asset, that you own something valuable, and use that against your mortgage application, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that right there had already passed, and the banks are now able to legally hold crypto and buy crypto, which is again bullish news. And then these three bills that are going through the U.S. government right now. So I think it's all great for Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all great. Yeah. So I see where you're coming there, travel trade.
Jason Kelly, good morning to all. Looks like the UK is going to be left behind in buying Bitcoin while everyone steams ahead due to restrictions. They are bad.
They are.
UK, like, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, UK does have an ETP for buying Bitcoin, Jason. But however, they're only letting the super rich buy it.
Yeah.
The average person, you and I, can't buy it in the UK. They're saying no, and there's UK banks out there that will not let you invest in Bitcoin. Barclays is one of them.
Well, we have,
they put an announcement out that you can no longer use your Barclay card to buy Bitcoin. What the heck? And yet they own Bitcoin themselves. So it's like a double-edged sword. Don't do as I do as we say.
We have UK passport holders here in
Quite
the
a few.
group that can't open a trading account, based out of the UK. If they show their residence as Thailand, which they've done now, and then IBKR lets them buy.
Yeah.
But if they show residence as England, IBKR says, sorry, you can't buy.
Correct.
How stupid is that? And
Yeah.
that country's going to be, well, they're hurting their citizens is what they're doing. They will come to the table, guys. So any of you guys that from the UK, they will eventually, it's like Germany waking up. Maybe we shouldn't have sold that 40,000 Bitcoin, $600 or 6,000 or whatever. You know what I mean? They left a lot of money on the table. Well,
and another thing that makes me laugh, Brooke and Jason, is the UK government is the third largest government holder of Bitcoin. They're the third largest in the world behind China and America. And the government holds like 60,000 Bitcoin that it's got through, confiscating it from illicit practices, and they're holding it. They haven't sold it. If they think Bitcoin is so bad, why haven't they sold it? Why are they still holding it? Makes you think. They want the rich to get richer and the poor to stay poor.
Well, anyways,
yeah,
it's not. Getting back, Coop, did Bitcoin get you out of the condo review business?
Yes, it did actually. And Misty actually got me out of all that. I don't need to do it anymore, folks. I really don't. Yeah, I will go back to filming some more videos for the channel. That's a certainty. But I'm not going to go back at it full time like I was. It's just too much work. It takes a lot of time for Darlene to edit it. We're waiting for AI to take off, which Elon Musk says Grok 4.0 is coming out just after the 4th of July. So that could be fantastic.
Wow.
Once AI is able to edit YouTube videos, I'll make a bunch. I'll stick them on the channel for you. No problem. I got a lot that I could do.
And just off topic a bit, Tesla had their rollout of their self-driving taxis in Austin.
Yes.
And it was a raving success. Don't believe all that FUD and all the negative, I mean, there's guys out there that are paid to put these negative reviews.
Oh yeah.
By Tesla competitors, people that hate Tesla. So yeah, don't believe it. It was a raving success. They're going to keep it small, keep it going, and then all of a sudden they'll flood 1,000 cars.
Exactly.
You know, and they've got the vehicles to do it. So, yep, don't bet against Tesla. Wanderlust Asia. Tom Lee has an ETF called Granny. Yes, which is starting to do well. Granny shots, I think they call the stocks in there. So.
And Michael, what's his name? Popoliano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pomp.
He just came out on TV and said he's raised $1 billion to buy Bitcoin. So there's another billion going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry Hart says, good morning, Coop, Darlene, and Brooke. Hope all are doing well. We are.
And we are. Thank you, Jerry, for coming on and joining us.
Stuart, good morning, Brooke and Perma Bull Coop. No Misty and Robin Hood country, but I'm in on MicroStrategy and staking Bitcoin on Strike.
Well, there you go.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, he's Australian then, if he's doing it through the Strike network.
Okay.
Isn't that the one?
Stake, I think it's
Stake. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. I'd be very careful about staking your Bitcoin because the platform has it. It's no longer necessarily yours, you know, until, so be careful.
Yeah, and there are also a lot of companies coming out and say, we'll lend you money on your Bitcoin. So, yeah.
Logan, just remember, boys, before we hit $1 million Bitcoin, the market makers will shake you down 5 times. And when you cry for mercy, they will shake you down 6 more times before it goes parabolic.
And that is exactly why I bought Misty. Okay. So I don't have to worry about it, Logan. I bought Misty, so I get my monthly check. If it's $1, I'm happy. If it's $5, I'm ecstatic. Yeah, you know, so I got that regular money coming in every single month, and then I can use that money to help supplement my income here in Thailand, and I can also use it to buy other shares, like in MicroStrategy, like in Tesla, you know, like in these, you know, sort of top stocks that are going to do well over the next 5 years. And I don't worry if the price goes up or down because I know where it's going to be in 2 years' time.
And Logan's referring, guys, so you know, to these people that use leverage on Bitcoin. So, you know, they maybe have 100,000 and they'll give them credit to spend another 200 or whatever. So, you know, and if they did that full, about 300 worth of Bitcoin, they'll see that. The market makers can see the liquidation prices, and they'll liquidate the longs, you know, by putting the stock price down, and the liquidation the shorts by raising the stock price up. So you want to be careful of using leverage. I don't recommend it.
No.
Yeah, stay away.
You got to be very
You can't
careful.
pay cash, don't do it.
Yeah. And currently Bitcoin is at 108.5, so it's doing well. Fear and Greed Index is at 66. So everything's looking pretty good across the board.
Yeah, ETH's at 25.10.
Yeah, it's gone back
up 3%. What's Solana doing here? It's 152. I think last I checked was 140. It's up 1.49%. Oh, and here comes our buddy XRP 220. It's hanging in there.
And it's up 0.6%.
So.
XRP. Yeah. So it's looking all good right now for the Bitcoin and the alts. It seems like they're running together, which I must admit, I do like that it is doing that. So fantastic times ahead. 124 people watching the live stream and only 64 likes.
What the heck is
Let's
going
see
on?
if we can get it up to 100.
They must not like me.
And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. It's free. Then hit subscribe. Then put your comment in. We'll read it off live on air, and it's all free. It doesn't cost you a penny. So what are you waiting for? Pound it.
Tommy Lee, there's the Tominator. Good morning, Coop, Brooke, and Darlene. What's your guess on Misty distribution this month? $1.20.
$1.20, thereabouts. I think it's going to be their lowest dividend payment, but I think August is going to be fantastic, and we're going to rip above $2 based on the synthetic income. So those 4 synthetics that all expire the end of July, which is, you know, only tomorrow. July 1st of July tomorrow. So yeah, I think we're in for some good future payments. So don't get out. It's still very promising, and the assets under management value in the last month has gone up tremendously from 4.4 billion to 5 billion. I'm predicting at opening of market today.
Keep in mind, guys, even at $1, as I said earlier, that's 60% return on your money on an annualized basis.
Exactly.
Nobody's paying that. So Still a good deal. Mike D says, I like my at Mike D way better, but what I like best is that dividend every month. Let's go. Yes.
Exactly. We're all loving that dividend.
There's Frank T, I believe. Is the best way to support you guys is to scan the QR code up in that corner, Coop, and keep funding the channel. Well, that definitely helps.
It is. And because when people send us super chats there, Frank, that's Frank, by the way, Frank T, what happens is YouTube takes 40% for taxes that they keep and we never see. When people buy us coffees through this QR code link here, we get like 90% of it. We don't lose.
I thought.
Yeah, 90, 95%, somewhere around there. And they don't take 40% for taxes. So yeah, it's the best way to help support the channel is when people buy us coffees. Yeah. Or become channel members.
That helps.
That helps too.
Robert Pierpont, $1 on MSTY bet. Okay.
That would be the low end.
He's a conservative investor, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. If you plan on $1 and it's more, you're a happy camper.
Yeah, like Brooke said earlier, Robert, Yield Max MSTY fund is actually sitting on $2.50 of profit from previous months. They could hold that back and pay it out at the end of the year, their financial year, which will be the end of October, or they could give a portion of that to help build the MSTY price up. So not to scare the shareholders and be its lowest payment. So the lowest payment it ever made was $1.33. So what could they feasibly do to raise it up from 76 cents, which is what the IV would predict they would pay on it, is they could actually make it $1.50 if they wanted to and put 75 cents into it from the $2.50 that they already hold in profit, that they could take 50 cents of it and make it $1.25, which is what I'm sort of thinking they will do.
Yep.
Yeah. But if it's
above
the 133, we'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, we will. LV Abroad says Tesla drove itself to its first buyer, I heard. Correct?
Yes,
Mundo.
And they released the full video from the car doing it on YouTube. Unedited, full video, 30 minutes. It drove directly from the factory to the customer's house.
Produced in the factory.
Flawlessly.
Never stopped. It came
no
down
driver,
the line,
no co-pilot, nothing.
Came to the end of the line, went down the ramp, into the parking lot, kept driving all the way to the guy's house and bought it. It's pretty good. James Marshak, Chuck. MSTY made 76 cents a share. They have $2.13 per share that are required to distribute over the next 4 months.
It's actually over $2.50 there, James. I have looked on their webpage, and they give the full disclosure there. It's like 251.08 was the last number that I saw.
I saw 236. So there's various sources.
Yeah.
You know, they're all within 2 and change. Ronald Reichert says, good morning, CBD. Greetings from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Nice and greetings to you too, Ronald.
Yeah. There's Dandy Don. Miss Health says, good morning, everyone, from District Grand Park 2. Pray for no rain at pool time. Patience on crypto. Let the Genius bill and the other crypto bill get signed into law. Focus on 150,000 Bitcoin and 2 payments in MSTY in August.
Yeah,
well, that's a good focus.
That is a very good focus. And thank you, Don Donalek, that's his full name, for being a channel member and having the badge next to your name.
Jeff Trio, to me, anything over $1 is a bonus.
And that's what I've said since day one. Yeah. I'm happy with 60% a year, you know, return on my money. That's fantastic. You know, so I always, you know, sort of went into it. And I did say on a previous live stream that I bought double the amount of shares that I need for when they do have the down days like today. You know, like what's going to happen in 2 more days' time when they release the figure of what they're going to pay out. And hence why I bought double the shares that I needed. And if it is $1, I'm happy because it hit that magic number. And if it's anything over $1, it's a super bonus, as Brooke and I like to say. Can't beat.
Robert Pierpont, I told you guys about RZLV a couple weeks ago. It's an AI Bitcoin and crypto payment platform, and they hold Bitcoin as well.
Okay.
I bought at a $2 price a couple months ago. It's now $3.33 on Friday, sitting at $2.84 now.
Well, that's good.
Well, Friday to Monday.
You
yeah,
made a
that's
40% profit
quite a
since you bought in.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Well done, Robert.
W Secrets to Success. Hey, gents, back to Tesla ETF February 24. Price per share is $10 before reverse split in assets, 115 billion. No change, increase in assets under management total since then. So what risks am I missing here? Brooke, is it a bubble? No, I don't think it's a bubble.
No.
You know, they've consistently paid. I know they had a reverse split. They say they'll never do that again. So, you know, yeah, we'll see. There's volatility that they're making their money on in Tesla. I think it's actually a little better volatility even than MicroStrategy now.
Yeah.
Like anything, and I tend to believe this, W, Tesla's your underlying stock. Where do we think it's going? I can see it doing a double or triple in the next, year, 2 years max, which will again cause some volatility increase, which should pull Tesla up with it, in my opinion.
Thinking the same.
Yeah. So, and again, anyone in Tesla, you're like us and Misty, you're looking for that monthly check. I want that. I want my money. I want it every month. Just make sure it's coming. And yeah, so we'll see. You'll get it with Tesla.
Yeah.
I'm not against Tesla.
No, me either. And our first shout out of the day goes to Mr. Malcolm Hawkins, who bought us 10 coffees and says, cheers for all you do, guys. Better give Darlene a few coffees. And thank you, Mal. God bless you. And I will. I'll treat Darlene to a couple coffees. She likes
come
her,
with us to
she likes her
66.
mocha coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one Darlene likes. Yeah.
Malcolm should come with us.
He should join us this morning at Route 66. Yeah.
Mike D, Misty at $5 payout. Whoa, I only wish. $1.35 to $1.40, still a great return.
I can see that by the end of the year, for their end of year payout, Mikey. I can really see Misty breaking all-time highs of dividend payouts at $5 or above. I can see that because I can see Bitcoin going to 200,000. I can see MicroStrategy getting into the S&P 500. I think there's a 98% chance MicroStrategy gets into the S&P 500 by the end of September. If it doesn't, the next inception date will be December for them.
I don't think it's a question of if, it's simply when.
Yes.
I know Tesla should have been included back in its day, and they skipped a quarter. And people were, what the? Tesla dropped.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It didn't take long. It rebounded back up, and it did get included.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes they don't. This committee, they don't
that votes on it.
They have guidelines, but what the hell? That's just a guideline. They don't mean they're going to do it, but they will eventually, because as all the criteria get met and the demand for the products soar, they're idiots if they don't put it in. So they don't want to be caught off guard. But
I think so too. And I think that's why Misty has put a lot of call options at the end of this week at 420 for MicroStrategy, because they're thinking they're going to, make bank, and they'll be getting put into the S&P 500.
That would be good.
Yeah. So what'll be fantastic for the MicroStrategy shareholders. And Misty.
James Marshall says, if you split the 213 that Misty is required to distribute over the next 4 months,
say 53 cents,
and add that to the 76, you get $1.29. Okay, so he's using that formula. Yeah.
They could do that,
or they might sandbag it. James, pay out $1, $1.20, and keep it a little bit more, and they'll pay more in the next time. But I think it's the end of October. Yeah, the year end, they have to pay out. That's required by law to pay out the 90%. So, we'll eventually get it. It's just a question of when.
Exactly. I like your math, though.
Philip Hunt, late to the party, late to Misty, but chugging along just nicely.
And thank you, Philip, and thank you for being a channel member.
Robert Pierpont, BBAI is the next Palantir. Okay, probably not going to Palantir's price, but it's under $6 now. 25 plus is in the cards by year end. They have some serious government ties. Yeah, well, Robert must be an insider to know all that. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for sharing that. We'll have a
Never
look
heard
into it.
of it.
I'll do a little bit of research on
Oh.
that this week.
Good. Dandy Don says, my Misty welfare check prediction is enough to buy 2 shrimp fried rice, which is $1.20 a bot, and 2 massages. Okay, well, bingo.
You'll get a bit more than that.
He loves that.
Don.
He loves his massages. What's
Duke.
Coop doing these days? Duke, hopefully you got your Sol staked at 8% while you're waiting, Coop.
And that was just sitting there.
Yeah, you don't stake.
I don't stake it. No,
sure.
I just leave it there sitting there. And I've got good hope for Solana.
It does pay good, that staking, yeah. Solana. But interesting. I think you'll see a lot of interest in the Solana ETFs. And I think it's kind of like people like myself. I don't really want to hold coins in a cold wallet, having to worry about seed phrases. And I'd rather just make it easy, make it simple, hold it through an ETF.
Yeah.
It's kind of like iBit with, BlackRock.
Yeah.
Hold it through the ETF. You don't have to ETF. You don't have to hold the Bitcoins in your cold wallet, cold storage. Some people do. I'm just not one of them. LV says Solana all-time high was 264. After the ETFs, it will rocket past that, in my opinion. I agree.
I think there could be something there. I mean, that would be a phenomenal return. I mean, because what's Solana? Did we say it's not $2 something right now, Brooke?
No, Solana was at 150, I think.
Is that what it is right now?
Yeah.
Solana price?
Yeah, 150.
I haven't checked for a while.
Yeah, 152.
152.52. Yeah.
But last week it was like 141, and it wasn't that long ago. I think it was down to like $100.
Yeah.
Under. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is volatile.
Got you.
LV, okay. Yeah. Jeff says, which cryptos have ISO 2020 compliance so far? Well,
the only one I know of is Solana.
Okay. Well,
that is ISO 222 compliant. ETH maybe. I don't know. It's not one of those ones that I really follow. I'm only sort of right now as it is.
That might be a search for grok.
Yeah, I think right now the way things are with the altcoins, my favorite is Solana. It's the fastest chain on the network. Over 111 million transactions per second. Nobody can even come close, and it's so undervalued right now. I think when it hits that ETF, it's just, there's a good chance that it's gonna, 2 to 10x, somewhere between there.
If you want a lot of good information that I think you definitely can rely on, watch Invest Answers. He believes in Solana, has for a long, long time. James. Been in it for a long. I mean, he did an analysis back when it was $8 a coin and started buying, and he's been buying ever since. And James, you're right, and Invest Answers, we both follow him religiously because it's hard to find data you can trust out there. I mean, I look at Tesla. I like Brighter with Herbert because that guy, he has a lot of videos. He has a lot of sharp people, and you can kind of believe them because they have the data to back it up and the facts. Where there's so much bullshit out there. I mean, guys are saying, "Oh, Tesla's failed in Austin, and they swerved in the oncoming." It's all bullshit. When you start watching the whole video, not the little snippets that they're trying to tell you this is why. But yeah, so I like James Invest Answers for like Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Solana, which he all owns, and Brighter with Herbert for the Tesla information. Now, James is big on Tesla too. So he's got a big bag of Tesla.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We got about 10 minutes to go, Brooke.
Okay. LV Abroad, looks like Misty's going up close to payout. If they pay above $1, stock should drop. I guess we'll see later this week.
Exactly. You should see that. And I think MicroStrategy is going to go up, and it's going to drag Misty with it. Misty's correlation right now is about 74%. To MicroStrategy, and they did actually beat MicroStrategy several times last week. When MicroStrategy went up, they went up more. When MicroStrategy went down, they went down less. So Misty is definitely in the running there. And, like we're saying, if the MicroStrategy goes to $2,000 a share, let's just say, if it does hit that amount, it's incepted in the S&P 500 and Bitcoin's over 200,000, then yeah, you're going to see Misty price well over $40 per share. So
that'd be nice.
And with that, they should be giving $4 dividend payments a month if it's trading that high.
Logan says it's the moment you give up on altcoins that it does a 5 to 20x.
No, I gave up on MicroStrategy last year and it did a 10-to-1 split. And I was like, no, why did I do that? So yeah, maybe you're right there, Logan.
Corey Brunson, breaking news. Misty just announced it's eliminating the dividend. Bullshit.
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
That's a FUD.
Yeah, absolute FUD. No truth in that whatsoever.
No. It's getting to the point you can't believe most of the stuff on X, isn't it? Logan says, stay tuned for next week's show where we are we're having a staring contest between Coop and Brooke. I got Brooke at minus 250. There's Dandy Don. XRP is going to move trillions in 2025. I will more than double in 2025. Anyone, including the Solana apostles, want to bet 10 Misty? Donnie's a firm believer in XRP.
Yes.
Us not so much. Richard Woolley, I missed the Bitcoin boat, but I'm all in on Misty.
And you're still in Bitcoin then, because they're trading against MicroStrategy, and MicroStrategy is all in on Bitcoin. So it is another way of getting into the cryptoverse.
Yeah. Hit that like button, guys. Make Darlene smile. We got to get that
please.
100 today. Alvia Broad says, deliveries will be like gas pumps. Before long, it will be self-serve. The truck or car will pull up and you will get the stuff out yourself. I think he's talking about Tesla, isn't he? Yeah.
And Tesla made a big, huge announcement, folks, that we forgot to cover on the show. I'll just give you a brief overview of it because we're running low on time. They said that the new Model Y that they're currently building is going to have the robo-taxi software already pre-installed on it. And you can pay for a subscription per month. So the car will take you to work. Your new Model Y, it'll take you to work. And then while you're at work, the car will go out and earn money for you on the robo-taxi business.
Driving itself.
And then it'll come pick you up after work and take you home. And then while you're at home, it'll go out and earn more money for you.
It'll charge itself and then it head back out during midnight hours.
So you'll be at work and you'll be like, oh, okay, I worked 8 hours today and I got $300 of salary, but guess what? My new Model Y went out and earned $3,000. Well done.
That may be
I know that's a lot rich, but and who knows if it's doing airport runs and so forth. Maybe it is, but yeah, so $3,000 for the month. I'm talking, not for the day, but yeah, it's a great way.
It's where the future's headed.
It's where the future's headed,
Yeah.
and I can see that driving Tesla's share price. And a lot of people's going to want to buy one. You think about it, folks. For those of you that aren't retired yet, if you can buy a car and that car goes out and earns you money while you're at work, tell me that's not a plus, plus, plus. In my opinion, that's a plus, 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 plus. That is a fantastic way to earn extra income on top of your Misty.
How do you play that AI play? You buy some Tesla.
Yeah.
Okay. Chuck-a-luck. Open the backdoor Roth with 8K of Misty on grip. We'll add 8K each January 1st till 5-year rule ends. Then take the cash. Okay, well, that's going to get you.
You got a return. Very good retirement plan there.
Yeah.
Chuck-a-luck.
I wouldn't again, guys. I started off. There's income you need per month, and there's growth. I do think over time the growth will outperform the income. I think my Tesla stock will outperform my Misty.
I think it's going to outperform my Misty. I think it's going to outperform my MicroStrategy. It's my number one target for 2030.
Yeah, but it's still nice to have the monthly check, and that's what I'm in the income for, the monthly Misty.
Exactly.
So, okay, Robin Hood Country Stewart says, England guys, Strike is the Bitcoin only platform. That's what I'm using to stack Bitcoin. No Misty, but the communists are in charge.
Yeah. So Robin Hood Country, that'd be Nottinghamshire. Nottingham in England.
Okay.
Know that area.
Robert Pierpont, I say $1 is the payout on Misty because it typically pays a little more than I think or say it will. Okay.
So he's betting it's less than $1, but he thinks they're going to pay $1 anyways. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. It's going to be a minimum of $1.
Rich Price, thoughts on Coinbase and perhaps YieldMax Coney?
Coinbase is doing very well right now on the stock exchange. You know, it's going
volatile.
up and up.
Yeah.
And Coney is following suit. So they're both very good to look at getting into.
Yeah, Coney's paid out pretty good in the last 12 months.
Yes, it has.
Similar to Misty, although I think Misty's even a little better. But Coinbase, yeah, they're going to be here. They're regulated. So the stock itself, which is what I look at, the underlying stock of Coney is Coinbase. They're always going to have a demand. They're making money. They custody. Well, they custody for a lot of the big ETFs,
like IBIT.
Yeah, and they are regulated, so they're safe. But yeah, no problem with that if you're into that.
Yeah, but my firm favorite is still Misty because I see where MicroStrategy is going.
I think MicroStrategy is going to be the fastest horse in the race. If you compared, would I rather own MicroStrategy or Coinbase? Well, definitely MicroStrategy.
Yes,
because I can see that. Like Coinbase will be drawn along with Bitcoin's price increase because that's who trades on Coinbase. Is Bitcoin, you know. Tesla and Tesla again. I would rather own Tesla than Coinbase. So that's kind of my. But hey, maybe as a diversified portfolio, you throw that in there.
Yeah.
Captain Action, there he is. Here is a Bitcoin joke. I asked the bar girl on Soy 6 if she accepts Bitcoin. And she said, no, it goes up and down more than I do.
That's funny.
That is good. Mike D. Brooke and Coop, what do you like for growth stocks? Tesla and MicroStrategy.
Yeah, both on the same there. And thank you, Captain Action and Mike, for being channel members.
Gemini says, have you guys heard of BTCI YieldMax? Might grab some shares.
Have heard of it. Haven't done any research into it, Gemini.
Yeah, there's so many. I know, guys, you're coming up with a lot of options, meaning stocks to look at, but there is so many just in YieldMax. Well, guess what? There's competitors jumping on the bandwagon because they've seen how successful this YieldMax idea was.
Like Winter and
that
MS
weekly payers, and you know, so pretty well any stock you can think of is going to have a payer attached to it before long. So you just can't analyze them all.
No,
you kind of got to pick your fights and then look at those, and otherwise you drive yourself batty. Philip Hunt says, Coop, can you ask Darlene to bring her speaker and mics to the pool, please?
It's not allowed, security said.
Logan says, you're only a firm believer in XRP if you bought below 60 cents. Correct. I'd stayed away. Chris Wheeler from Texas. Brooke, can I give you 1,500 Misty shares so you can collect for me and put on my Wise card? Absolutely.
50% commission?
No, we wouldn't charge that much. We'd be very fair.
49%.
You don't need
there. You go.
LV says, I earned $1,300 plus staking my Sol this past year. Well done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you wouldn't have it staked if it's just sitting there. Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for the ETF. I'm waiting for the ETF on it, Las Vegas. And I'm certain it's going to be here. I would probably say if it's not July, it's definitely August that it's going to get the ETF.
He's talking about why you aren't staking yours.
I just don't want to bother with it.
I think he doesn't understand how it works, and I don't.
Yeah.
So,
I've never done staking, to be honest.
Yeah, well, neither have I.
So I don't know a lot about it. I'm just
it's a way to make a return, and apparently, as long as it's safe, that's one of my main concerns are always.
I just put a $5,000 risk on it just to see what happens.
Sure.
I'm playing with pocket money there, and I won more than that on the cruise ship. So I thought, okay, I'll buy a little bit of Sol. Because I believed in James and Invest Answer saying that they're going to get this Sol ETF. And I thought, well, I know what happened to Bitcoin when they got it. I know what happened to ETH when they got it. And there's a very good chance that with Sol, it's going to do the same exact thing. So I bought the $5,000 worth of Sol, and I'll just let it sit there. And in 2 months' time, if it goes to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7x, good. it'll pay for my next couple of cruises.
I think staking, you put your sol onto their platform. They actually, you kind of, well, staking, I think you lose access to that until the staking period's over.
Right.
You do get the appreciation in the price. So
Yeah.
that's yours, or decrease. I mean, it's your baby.
Uh-huh.
But in the meantime, they pay you 8% on an annualized basis. So if you had done that for a year, you would have made $400.
I've only had it for 3 months.
Yeah. And I think they do put that, what you make, back into sol, so you get additional coins.
Yeah.
But hey, that's just, you do your research.
And right now, I think the last time I checked it on BitClub, I'm actually down about $112.
Yeah, well, you
So
bought
not
at
a
a
lot.
high, maybe you
Yeah.
promote in, maybe.
Yeah.
Robert says, BBAI just brought in Kevin McClellan as CEO. He was the Secretary of Homeland Security, and that is part of what their AI is for the Department of Defense by law, has to spread contracts around. Palantir can get them all. Can't get them all.
No,
Can't
they
get
do have
yeah.
to spread them around. I was a defense contractor for over 20 years. Yeah, they do.
So it might be okay. Live and learn with Mike. I'm thinking to buy $300 worth of Misty each month. I think I can't go wrong.
That'd be a good way to drip back
Dollar
in.
cost averaging that way, Mike, and that actually is a good way to get in, and you'll increase. You know, if you don't need the money, that's why not invest it. And you're looking obviously for a higher income check. You know, if you're looking at growth, you might want to do half into Misty and half into Tesla or even MicroStrategy, although that's kind of concentrating, and because you'll have income and growth. You know, the best. Best of both. Better to be a little bit of each. Logan, if you're only staking 5,000 worth of sol, it's not worth it. Okay, you won't make that much in a year. If you had 500,000 in sol, it would be worth it. Yeah, well, 8%, you'd be $400 on your 5K. You'd be 40,000 on your 500K. So it's probably worth it either way.
Wrapping up, folks.
Live and learn with Mike. I bought my Misty on my Fidelity account. Okay, good for you.
Yeah, and I bought my Misty on my IBK account. Yeah.
So they'll hold it for you.
Last comment goes to
LV says, thanks as always for your wisdom and sharing all the alpha. Have a great day, guys and gals. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Make Darlene smile. Pound it by people.
Pound it on the way out, people. And let's see what we did hit for the magic number. Did we get 100 thumbs up this live stream? We try and get 100 thumbs up every live stream. And
84.
We're 84,
oh,
so
man,
we're 16 short. 112 people watching. We only need 16 of you to hit that thumbs up button. Do it now if you haven't already done it, and say, hey, thank you for the show, Cooper. Thank you for answering our questions. That's your way of supporting the channel. If you don't want to buy us a coffee or become a channel member, best way to do it, give us a thumbs up. That's it. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost a penny. And we really appreciate it. And Mike says, great live stream. Thank you, Mike. Malcolm says, ooroo. And Richard Woolley says, thanks, guys. So until next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you all. Stay tuned. And if you're watching on the replay, give us a thumbs up.
We are going to Route 66.
Yeah, we're heading to Route 66 in about
today.
45 minutes. We'll
Good
be heading
enough.
out the door.
See you guys there.
So until next time, wherever you are, guys, stay tuned.
Safe.
God bless you.